Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Entertainment Brick Show. Today, we are continuing the Lego Disney Plus Star Wars TV show, Lego video game level idea outline. I don't know. This title is so long at this point. But yeah, we're continuing. We're doing Andor Part 2 here. So this is going to be the last 6 episodes of Andor, all turned into Lego levels, all outlined in this video here. We did Part 1, I don't know. How long has it been? It's been a little while. It's been a little while since Part 1. And now we're moving right along. We're moving right along to Part 2 of Andor. And then once Andor is finished, I'm definitely going to be going after Mando Season 3. And once Mando Season 3, hopefully I catch up with Mando Season 3 before Ahsoka comes out, which is supposedly going to be the next Star Wars show to come out, which I'll obviously make videos on there. Yeah, Mando Season 3, I'm hoping to catch up with it then. And for now, yeah, we're just going to focus on Andor Part 2, Season 1, Part 2 here of this video. Another 6 levels, so yeah, let's get into it. Let's do it. So let me run through the rules real quick. Basically, I design levels based off of Andor Season 1, with each episode turned into a traditional Lego game level with 3 separate parts to play through per level. In this video, I outline the part of the episode / level that you play through, characters you are playing as, and the objective you are trying to reach while playing. And with that being said, let's get into episode 7 / level 7, which is called Announcement. Starting with part 1 here, the effects of Morlena 1, that kind of scene there, where it's going to be utilizing the mechanic from Lego Star Wars, the Clone Wars, Lego Star Wars 3, the Clone Wars video game, which I believe is where it was first introduced, this mechanic, where you're able to change your character as well as change the location you were playing in during a level. So this is going to be utilizing that mechanic, this first part, where on one side you'll be playing as Cyril Karn in his episode 7 design, and the objective here is to follow the officer through that giant building, whatever that room was. I forget what that room was, where he was going to basically work now. And then on the other side, you play as, I'm going to butcher this name, but Kalia Markey, I think it is. It was Luthen Rail's assistant from on the Coruscant artifacts shop that he owns, and her objective is to find Vel Sartha on Coruscant. So you're playing basically as 2 completely different characters here, and these characters are going to basically just have to follow around. At least for Cyril Karn in this case, you're going to be following an NPC, non-playable character, and he'll be kind of leading you through this office, basically Star Wars office room, basically, as he leads you to wherever you are going to be stationed at. And this is going to be similar, kind of how I'm envisioning this to in Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. There was a level in The Last Jedi where you played as Rey and Kylo, and you had to walk through the halls of I forget what the ship is called. I think it was like Snoke's Dreadnought or something. I don't think that actually doesn't sound right. I don't remember what the ship was called, but basically there was a part in the level where you played as, again, Rey and Kylo, and you had to walk through, and you were very slow. You could only walk, and you really had to kind of take your time. That's how I'm envisioning this part of the level with Cyril Karn and this other officer character who leads him throughout this office building, and that's kind of how I'm envisioning. Like you'll be stuck walking, kind of following this character around, and eventually you just kind of have to reach this objective point to eventually move on. And again, on the other side here, you play as Clea, Clea Markey, and you're basically just going to be kind of running around through Coruscant, solving a few puzzles and stuff like that, trying to eventually reach the objective point, which is Vel Sartha. So that is part 1 of level 7. Moving on to part 2 is the Trust in the Rebellion here is kind of what it's titled. And this will also be utilizing the same mechanic from this first part, which is the Lego Star Wars 3, the Clone Wars change character, change setting mechanic, where on one side you'll be playing as Mon Mothma, and the objective for her is to walk with the senator. I forget what that guy's name was. I think he owned the banking or something like that. He was a banking senator or something. And keep away from Perrin Furtha, which is Mon Mothma's husband, at the party. So kind of envisioning this similar to one of the previous parts in my previous levels of Andor, where you played as Luthen Rail and Mon Mothma, and you'd have to hit a button to kind of talk, and there would be like a suspicion meter for Mon Mothma's driver. So kind of similar there, where you're gonna be playing as Mon Mothma talking with this senator, and Perrin further's suspicion meter is going to be like kind of increasing if you kind of make some wrong moves or maybe get too close to him or something along those lines. And the objective is to stay away from him. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Then on the other side, you're going to be playing as Cassian Andor, in whatever outfit he had from that episode. And the objective there is to solve a few puzzles to find a way to wake up Bix Caleen on Ferris. So in this part of the episode, Cassian Andor returns to Ferris and goes into the shipyard that Bix Caleen lives at, and he had to find a way to like wake her up. I think he just knocks on the door, but there had to be some sort of way to play through this part. So I'm kind of figuring in this shipyard area, you're going to be playing as Andor, and the goal is to kind of find a way to wake up Bix, basically using, I don't know, probably like find like a bunch of parts that build like some giant bell or something. I don't know, some sort of thing that Lego would do just to kind of make this a playable part. And then for part 3 of level 7 here is Neamos, which is that planet that Cassian Andor ends up going to, where you're going to be playing as Cassian Andor and his outfit from Neamos, and also the Neamos criminal, whatever, some random criminal character from this end part of the episode. And the objective is to actually have a boss fight with the Imperial security droid, which is like what K2SO was. So yeah, that's going to be a full-blown boss fight part of this level here on Neamos, which is going to obviously reflect the ending scene of this episode, where Cassian Andor kind of gets into like a quarrel with one of the shore troopers, and then the shore trooper brings over an Imperial security droid to kind of detain him, and things go south from there, obviously, as we see in the next couple episodes. And yeah, you're going to be playing as Cassian Andor and this Neamos criminal, and the objective is just to have a boss fight with this Imperial security droid, probably have some sort of way to like weaken him and then be able to attack him. So that is level 7. Next up, we have level 8 / episode 8, based off episode 8, which is called Narkina 5, which is the Imperial prison planet, it seems. So in part 1 here, we have the beginning kind of scene of this episode, which is when the Imperial security officers reveal that they don't really use weapons. They have a lack of weapons. So you're going to be playing as Cassian Andor in his Neamos outfit, and you're also going to be playing as the Neamos criminal from the previous level here, just some random criminal character from that episode. And the objective is to follow the Imperial security officer through Narkina 5. So this is going to be kind of similar to one of the previous parts of level 7, actually the first part of level 7, where you played as Cyril Karn following the officer throughout the Star Wars kind of office building equivalent, basically. And yeah, you're going to be kind of doing that similar thing, also based off of the Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga Last Jedi, one of the levels where you played as Rey and Kylo and you had to walk slowly kind of through this part of the level. That's kind of how I'm envisioning this as well. Again, you're going to be playing as Cassian Andor and the Neamos criminal, and you're going to be following this Imperial security officer through the Narkina 5 base to kind of get a feel for it. And, that's basically what's going to happen. You're just going to be like just kind of following this guy, basically, most of the level. And you can kind of trail off to different sides and stuff to get like mini kits and such, but mostly it's just going to be one straight shot following this Imperial officer here. So next is part 2, and that is the first shift that Andor has to go through here, where you're going to be playing as Cassian Andor in, his prisoner outfit. You're going to be playing as Melshi, Ulaf, Ham, Jembok, Taga, and Zal? Shawl? I don't know how you say those names, but a lot of weird names. But basically, this is the team, the group here, the table that Cassian Andor was put with by Kino Loy, table 5, I think it was. And they were trying to win the shift. They were trying to win the shift by making all the engine parts, which we later used, or not engine parts, but the parts used later for the Death Star's beam, I think it was. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched Andor, but you probably shouldn't be watching this video if you haven't watched Andor. So, the objective here is to win the shift. So I actually think this is going to be a timed section of this level, where basically there's going to be a timer, and as all the characters here, as this table of characters here, you have to go around the entirety of the workspace, I guess, and you have to solve a bunch of different puzzles and stuff like that in a timely manner to make enough of these, I'm going to call them engine parts. I know they're not engine parts, but they looked like engines when they were first shown off. I really didn't know what they were originally. They look like engines. I'm going to go with engines, so we're going to say engine parts. To make these engine parts very quickly and to solve puzzles to make them and then move them over to like the whatever the rack that they hang off of, and then you have to build another one. So you have to kind of do like a bunch of these puzzles to kind of solve a lot of these to build all these engine parts in a timely manner and beat the time limit basically. So as we, Lego usually doesn't really do time limits on their parts of levels when you play through them, but to make this a little bit more unique, add a timer. So next is part 3 of this level, which is the Empire on Ferris scene. This is towards the end of the episode here, where you're going to be playing as Bix Caleen, and you're also going to be playing as Brasso. And the objective is to escape the Imperial pursuers, or the Empire, the Imperial pursuers. So in this scene, basically, Bix Caleen is being searched for by the Empire, and Brasso, who was one of Andor's friends, is trying to kind of keep her under wraps. She eventually gets spotted by one of the Imperials, and she has to try to run through the streets of Ferris to escape these Imperial pursuers, and you're going to be basically playing through that. So again, you're going to be playing as Bix and Brasso, and you're just going to be kind of solving puzzles and fighting off stormtroopers and other Imperial officers throughout Ferris, trying to escape them, but eventually, the Imperial officers get Bix and stuff like that. That's how the story continues, but so that is part 3 of level 8. And now we'll move on to level 9. Next up here, we have level 9. This might be like one of the most difficult levels I've ever had to do, just to like make it playable in a Lego level. So level 9/episode 9 is called Nobody's Listening, with an exclamation point at the end. So nobody's listening. And part 1 here is New Prisoner on the Floor, where you're gonna be playing as Cassian Andor in his prisoner outfit, and you're also gonna be playing as Burnock. And the objective here is to sneak around back to destroy the water pipe, I think it was, a water pipe. So yeah, this is the New Prisoner on the Floor part, and basically there was this quick scene where Cassian Andor goes behind kind of like this prison, one of the walls in the prison, and kind of starts picking at this pipe, this water pipe. And again, this was a tough level to make parts off of. Like there was really nothing that really happened that would be like a Lego level material, basically. It was a lot of talking, it was a lot of exposition, it was a lot of showing Andor's, like Andor staying in this prison for a long time. So it was kind of very difficult to think of things. So basically what I thought of was just sneak around back to destroy the pipe. I don't know exactly how it would work. My guess is that, you would just solve like little puzzles in this little area, and you'd also have to be like kind of sneaking past some tables to avoid Imperial officers finding you. Then eventually, when you get to the back, you'd have to solve a couple puzzles, which will eventually take off the wall panel, and then you can start you just like hit the pipe once, and then boom, it goes to cutscene. But yeah, I don't know. Again, this is a tough level to really kind of map out, I guess. Part 2 here of this level is going to be the two different parts here, 2 different scenes where it's going to be utilizing the Lego Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars change character, change setting mechanic. And on one side, you're going to be playing as Mon Mothma, and the objective there is to find a way to discuss the rebellion events with Vel Sartha while Perrin isn't looking. This is going to be utilizing a similar mechanic that I've outlined before in this previous part of the game, this Andor part of the game, where you're going to have a character, an NPC character, an enemy character, basically, who has a suspicion meter, and you, as the player, have to kind of walk along with another character and have discussions about secret things that aren't supposed to be said out loud, or things regarding the rebellion in this case. And no other character will, or this character will kind of like make his rounds, on this on like a set path. And if he gets too close to you, his suspicion meter or their suspicion meter will go up, and it will eventually cause problems, cause you to lose this part of the game. So you have to replay it and watch out for, I guess in this case, Perrin Furtha, from listening in on your conversation here. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Similar mechanic. And on the other side, you're going to be playing as Kino Loy, and in this part of the level, you will have to play as Kino Loy and meet with 3 separate prisoners in the hallway to find out what is going on. So basically, in this part of the scene, everybody's kind of discussing what has happened on previous floors, or other floors of the Narkina 5 base, because there was a riot or something like that, or like a rebellion that started, and they all kind of fought back, and or something like that. What? No, I think a prisoner was moved to the same prison or something like that. Like his sentence was continued. So basically, all these people, all these prisoners in this hallway are freaking out, and Kino Loy has to kind of calm them down. But he also has to learn, what's going on. So as Kino Loy, you're going to be kind of walking in this hallway area, and you're going to be having to find specific prisoner characters in the crowd of prisoners to interrogate about what is happening and get more information on. Again, this was a really tough episode to make level parts off of, so it's kind of not the most interesting things here. And then for part 3 here is the Olaf scene here, where Olaf passes away, unfortunately. We're going to be playing as Cassian Andor as a prisoner, and you're also going to be playing as Kino Loy, and the objective is to find Olaf a place to lie down, then find a way to open the door for the doctor to come in. So, much more puzzle-oriented kind of part of this episode. Kind of what I'm thinking is, like, in this hallway area, you're going to be kind of running around the area, trying to find pieces to kind of, like, build some sort of, like, table or bed area. I know he kind of lied down against the wall, but I had to do something to make this playable, this part of the level playable. So maybe, like, building some sort of table or something like that, some sort of area where Olaf can like, lie down. And then, again, it moves on to where the door gets jammed or the door gets shut or locked or something, I don't know. And you have to kind of solve puzzles, continue to solve puzzles to unlock the door, open the door for the doctor to come in. Then that ends the episode, or ends the level here. Again, this is probably the most difficult level to make or difficult episode to make a level based off of it. So, yeah, that's level 9, level 10. This is where the fun begins. The level 10 is good. Next, we have level 10, or episode 10, which is called One Way Out. And in part 1, this is the climb sequence, where you play as Cassian Andor in his prisoner outfit, and you also play as Burnock, and the objective is to find a way onto the platform to defeat the guard. So in this scene, this is kind of where, like, the prisoners start fighting back against the Empire, like, start fighting back against their captors, and in this scene, there is I think a new prisoner that's supposed to come out on the floor or something like that, and Cassian Andor and Burnock jump on the platform that the Imperial officer is being raised and lowered on, and they have to, like, fight him, and they have to, like, jump up and stuff, and all the other prisoners start climbing to escape. Very great scene. This is a great episode. So, yeah, that's gonna be, like, kind of a quick scene. I'm kind of thinking maybe, like, the Imperial Guard is gonna be like a boss fight or something like that on this platform, because it gets stopped, like, I don't know, halfway down or something like that, maybe a little bit farther, and then they have to jump up onto the platform, and then they have to fight that Imperial Guard. So I'm kind of thinking the Imperial Guard will just be kind of like a mini boss fight in this first part of the level, just to kind of make this more of a playable sequence, just because it was a very quick, scene that happened, really. And then part 2 of this level is freeing the floors, where you're going to be playing as Melshi, Ham, and Taga, and the objective is to go throughout the facility, liberating different prisoner floors. So kind of what I'm thinking here is this is going to be much more of an open, almost like an open world part of the area here, where you're going to be, again, playing as Melshi, Ham, and Taga, and you're going to be running throughout this open area, the open area vertically, I guess would probably be a better way to describe it. And you're going to be running throughout this area, and the objective is just kind of, like, go into certain rooms that'll lead you to certain prisoner floors, and you have to liberate them. You have to, like, you have to solve different puzzles for each one, right? That you have to, like, find a way to lower the platform. You have to defeat a certain amount of Imperial guards to liberate one floor. You know what I mean? Just kind of, like, keep spiraling up and up and up the prison, liberating different floors and stuff like that by solving different puzzles and doing different things. And then that's basically all of part 2. So, yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking there. Then part 3 is where you play as Cassian Andor in his prisoner outfit, and then you also play as Kino Loy, and the objective is to escape the Narkina 5 prison. So this is obviously based off the scene where everybody's kind of screaming one way out, and they all, after liberating I think all the floors, all the prisoners start running towards the exits and start jumping in the water and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. You're going to be solving puzzles as Cassian Andor and Kino Loy, opening doors, finding ways across certain platforms and such to eventually reach the exit area, which triggers the cutscene where Kino Loy explains that he can't swim and stuff like that, and then he's kind of stuck on here forever. So, yeah, that is level 10, very much of more of an action-oriented kind of level. Next, we have level 11, which is the Daughters of Ferris episode, level 11, episode 11, Daughters of Ferris. And part 1 is the quad jumper scene, where you play as Cassian Andor in his prisoner outfit, and you also play as it says Ham on here, but it's Melshi. You play as Melshi, and the objective is to find and reach a ship to escape the Empire. So this is after they escape Narkina 5 and the prison, and they end up on like the shores of Narkina 5. I guess I actually don't really know where that was, and they kind of run through this rock kind of area to go and find a ship to escape on and to escape the Empire. And they get trapped by like these two guys who own the ship and stuff like that. But eventually they get freed, whatever. But basically, you should be kind of running around this area, solving puzzles, eventually reaching a quad jumper in the distance, which triggers a cutscene, kind of showing some more of the scenes there. Then part 2 is going to be utilizing the LEGO Star Wars: The Clone Wars change character, change setting mechanic there, and it's called Spying on Ferris, and you're going to be playing as Cinta on one side, and as Cinta, you're going to be having to stay discreet and spy on Cassian Andor's home. I'm kind of thinking maybe there was also that like Imperial, there was that Imperial spy who was also spying on Andor's home, so I'm kind of thinking of reutilizing the mechanic, the suspicion meter mechanic that I was kind of explaining in previous parts, where one non-playable character is going to be walking around the area, and if you get too close to him, his suspicion meter will increase, and you have to kind of escape him or get farther away from him while also kind of keeping your eye on a certain goal or something like that, at least in this case. And then on the other side, you're going to be playing as Luthen Rail, and the objective is to meet with Saw Gerrera. So you're basically going to be kind of solving puzzles around Saw Gerrera's hideout to eventually reach Saw Gerrera himself to have a conversation with him. But yeah, that's going to be kind of two puzzle-oriented / suspicion meter parts of this level here. And then for part 3, this is actually going to be a somewhat unique part, because I don't think we've ever had a playable ship part in this, in the Andor part of the video game here, where in part 3, you're going to be playing in the Fondor Hallcraft, which seems to be the name of Luthen Rail's ship, where you're going to be playing as the Fondor Flyer and the Fondor Gunner, and the objective is to destroy the satellites on the Star Destroyer to release the tractor beam and stuff. So if you don't remember from this scene, basically Luthen Rail gets caught up with a Star Destroyer, and there's this whole like flying flight ship action scene, which is very cool, very great action sequence, where Luthen Rail is flying his Fondor Hallcraft, and fighting off TIE fighters, fighting off the actual Star Destroyer itself. So why not play through that scene where one player will be flying the ship and the other will be the gunner of the ship there, trying to shoot down the TIE fighters as well as the satellite on the Star Destroyer. So you basically have to just destroy the Star Destroyer. Basically a Star Destroyer boss fight is kind of how I'm envisioning this. So that is level 11. Now let's move on to the final level. Now we are on to the final level of the Andor part of the game here, which is level 12 / episode 12, which is called Rick's Road. Part 1 here is back on Ferris, the return to Ferris, I guess, where you play as Cassian Andor, and you also play as Pegla, who was also in this scene, where basically the objective is to sneak into Ferris again, because it's Imperial occupied now, and as Cassian, you have to sneak back into Ferris. So kind of how I'm envisioning this is it's basically just going to be like this linear path, and as Cassian Andor and Pegla, you're going to have to be solving puzzles and such to basically make your way through this linear path through Ferris. Maybe, sneaking past some stormtroopers, solving some puzzles to move things out of the way, stuff like that, just to kind of eventually reach this objective, which will kick you into a cutscene, and then, moving on to the next parts of the level here. So part 2 is the rebellion, sparking a rebellion, where you're going to have 2 characters, and it's going to be utilizing the LEGO Star Wars 3, the Clone Wars change character, change setting mechanic, where on one side, you're going to be playing as Cassian Andor, and the objective there is to find Bix in the Ferris, hotel or something that was now Imperial occupied. So you can kind of, sneaking through there, taking down some stormtroopers and Imperial officers, and eventually reaching Bix and freeing her. And then on the other side, you're going to be playing as Brasso, and you have to rebel against the Empire. So this is going to be, when everybody's kind of out in Rick's Road, in the square, talking or listening to Marva Andor's speech, and then they all get, inspired to go and fight against the Empire, and they all, fight the Empire, basically. So you're going to be kind of playing through that sequence as Brasso in this part of the level here. And then you're going to end with playing as Cassian Andor in Bix Caleen in Part 3, which is when Ferris kind of loses to the Empire, sort of, but they also make a very good statement, a very good message here. And the objective is to escape through the commotion of Ferris. So it's going to be kind of like, I'm kind of thinking it's going to be mirroring the first part of the level here, where again, you're kind of playing through this linear pathway through Ferris to sneak back into it. And then in Part 3, you're going to be sneaking back out of Ferris, or escaping Ferris, maybe through that same linear path, but now it's different because there's more commotion going on. There's more stormtroopers kind of running around and shooting and attacking Ferris citizens, and more commotion. There's gonna be the smoke grenade that drops, or whatever that grenade was, that causes all the smoke to kind of come out and blind everybody, and then they start firing and stuff. So there's gonna be a lot of commotion in this part of the level that you have basically escaped through as Bix Caleen and Cassian Andor, and that is level 12. So there you all have it. That is the Andor section of the LEGO Star Wars Disney Plus TV show video game. I'm basically caught up with all like the backlog stuff, kind of. There is Mando Season 3 happening, as making this video. Mando Season 3 is still releasing. We're about halfway through the season. So I plan on making that Mando Season 3 video for Part 1 sometime soon. I don't know exactly when it will release. Just depends on if there's anything crazy that happens, or if there's any other videos that I want to make beforehand. But yeah, so that was really it. Next is going to be Mando 3 once that kind of ends, that kind of stops releasing episodes. But for now, that is it. That is it for now. So if you enjoyed that video, do the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.